Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back here to my channel where I play pianos too. My name is Nissa and today I made this little greenhouse. Basically, it is of course for the butterflies, but I figured greenhouse again. We are in my childhood memories, my childhood dreams, and kids like to make their parents happy. And my father would love tropical plants like this in a tree in a giant um greenhouse. So therefore I thought I gonna combine those two. So if you want to see how I built this, then please keep watching. And yes, I know all of these butterflies wouldn't appear on their own in a greenhouse like this. However, I figured there was a few ways around that, and I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Um, Again, we are in my childhood dreams here, so again, it would be a old place we are, old farms here in Denmark. I'm not don't know about every country, but here in Denmark, a lot of them either have this beautiful garden where a lot of butterflies will come on their own accord. Um, Definitely the monarch, but I'm not sure about the rest of them, especially because not all of them live in Denmark. Um, and some farms have greenhouses, and some of the old farms have both. I figured that the greenhouse would be easier to keep, and yeah, the butterflies just fit in. And I think if my dad or myself got an opportunity to get some extra beautiful butterflies that we don't normally see here in Denmark, that would be amazing. Normally we see, as I mentioned, the monarch, and then we have one called the coal butterfly, which is like kale or something like that butterfly. I'm not sure what it's called exactly in English or anything like that, but it is this basically boringly off-white butterfly with no patterns or anything. Um, so it's just, yeah, it would just be magical for a kid like me to see butterflies with all of these beautiful colors. So yeah, I figured it would make sense to do. It was my plan to do it this early on. I figured I wanted to play with the butterflies at some point, um, but I just wasn't sure how, when, and what I wanted to do with them, because I simply didn't want just to plop down the habitat or the exhibit and then just leave it as is. I wanted to do something with it. So making it into a greenhouse and then making the butterflies secondary feels more right to me, especially in this storyline I'm running with here. And here you can see I haven't started building that yet, and that's because we are on an old farm, and old farms did have these things here in Denmark where it was like a 2-part, 3-part, or a 4-part farm, and all of the part would be somehow touching. Sometimes it's just the roof, but in a lot of these newer days, people have removed part of the farm to make sure that you could get in there with tractors and trucks and such, because they're just bigger than they were back then. However, when you have all of these parts, oh, I should clarify, this part would be like you have the main part, which is the house. And then if you have a 2-part farm, you have it as a L, where you have one side, one part would be the house, which would be one line, and then the other line would be for animals or farming tools or storage or something like that. Then you could be a little richer and then have a 3-parter, which would be like more like a U form, but still squared. Not rounded, but you get the drill. Then the middle part, like the top part, touching both of the other parts would be the main part where you live in. And then both of the others would be, for instance, animals on one side and tools or storage on the other side. And if you had a lot of money, you would have the entire 4-part, and it would be like a square form with this square hole in the middle. And again, you get the drill, the same things, basically. So I wanted to build that here, but clearly I pulled the house itself apart for it. It's something people started doing in the 1900s, early 1900s, mid 1900s. Since you didn't really count for the animal to keep the house warm anymore, and a lot of tools nowadays are more noisy than they used to be. So therefore, I just wanted to symbolize that. So we have modernized these old forms, or the previous owner did already here, by pulling the house itself a little bit away and modernizing it, still with the same relics from the old house. That's why it still is in the same design. So our farm here will go for a 3-part as it is now. So if it was all combined now, we would have 3 parts. We will have a 4th by tomorrow. I already built it. I think you will see it short in the cinematics, but now we are in the greenhouse. And initially I thought I could have tomatoes, I could have carrots, I could have all of that in here. That would make a ton of sense. However, it's supposed to be my dad's greenhouse, and he just, well, he would do that, but like it would end out the same way, basically. Because my dad, I love him, but he's the type of man that gets a idea and goes through with it. He don't think it through, he don't plan ahead, and he aren't realistic about things always. So he would get an idea about this greenhouse, and he would have an idea about exactly which plants he wants in here, and he would lay them out, he would draw up a map, he would get them all and be ready to use them. And then he would be more like, well, I bought like this bag of seeds and I put them where I wanted them, but I only used like half the seeds, and I don't want to waste money, so I don't want to throw the rest of the seeds out. That's my dad. So he would like try to mush in the rest of the seeds of all of the plants, or either extra on top of each other, or like, oh, there's a little corner here with nothing on it, I will fill it in there. And so we would already here have more plants than initially intended. And at the same time, he's kind of like me. I think YouTube is the third thing I ever have been able to keep being engaged in for this long of a time. Like, I think March we're gonna hit a year, and I'm excited for that. And I'm not tired of this yet. That's amazing. So he would, like, the first year, he would be maybe the first half a year, because then it would be cold. He would be so engaged and keep up with it and remove all the weeds and such. And then the cold comes, and he don't really want to get out there that much. He's like, well, it's winter, plants don't grow that fast, we're gonna wait to spring. And for the first 3 months of spring, he would be like, well, it's still cold. And then summer comes, and he's like, well, I need to do this other thing first. And then it would just over time grow a lot. He will still make it his pride in the way he will still be proud of what he built here. He will still think it looks amazing. It's not what he intended it to do, but he will still bring guests out here to show it off. And he would still love it very, very much. He just wouldn't have the same, like, energy to work out here every day. And especially since we have all of the animals around the farm also here, or do as it will become at some point. So therefore, I figure his energy would be used much more other places. So therefore, I use this layer on layer technique that I also did in my stone house in my Nubaya Zoo, which is just layer on layer, layer on layer. I build it up. I chose the mulch in here because I thought that would be the best looking with all of these plants. But to be honest, you can't really see it. Uh, I think there's a little corner saw when I was done. I could see it, and I just popped down the plant because it was weird to see it one piece. I also think around the donation boxes you can see it a little, but you can see even here I'm gonna cover most of it in the front. And yeah, and just to clarify, I did say in the beginning of the video, nothing, or I did not say I would tell you about the butterflies. I think there are important things to talk about butterflies, not specifically subspecies. I aren't that interested in that part, but they are so important for our environment. But basically, my head is dead. It's 16 minutes past midnight at this point. Um, and I really want to build more still. So I needed to record this a little fast. I just couldn't get myself to sit still and read and actually register in my brain what I've read. So I really hope you are okay with that. Here I just put it in these extra walls to people who sit in there or stands in line, so they don't feel like people are going just past them. That can be kind of frustrating sometimes. And then some of this. And before I forget, I really want to put up a what's it called? A questions thingy poll on my community tab. So if you want to be a part of it, please go over there and check it out. It will be basically about if you got the new DLC, and if you got it, which animal either will be or have been the first animal you built for, because I'm really intrigued about that. I don't think that I chose the cat. I don't think that surprises anyone. But I surprised myself by picking the butterflies as the next. That wasn't the idea. It was basically because I chose last minute to go with this childhood dream of a backyard zoo. That makes so much sense for me to make. However, keep in mind I do not condone backyard zoos. I know there's different restrictions of them in different countries, and you can help the world a lot by doing so. But I think a lot of people who does it have the focus the wrong place. So I just wanted to clarify that once again. However, time for the cinematics. I will be back. Okay, guys, that's all for today. I know these exhibit animals aren't for everyone, but I actually really enjoyed building this. I would like to actually be able to make it even more custom in these uh, settings wise, move the enrichments around and such, but I still really like the result and I hope you like it too. Anyway, guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know that next time I upload a video. Really hope to see you again either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys.